And we are back for NFL Week 5. Welcome to The Bettor's Edge with your host, Jake. We got a full slate of NFL action coming at you, and we have 3 NFL winners that I'm going to be providing you guys with during this show and this episode. On top of 3 winners, I'm also going to provide you guys with 2 or 3 picks that I suggest highly you stay away from. And I will even add a total that I won't be betting myself, but a total that I do like to go over, giving you a sneak peek on what that selection is. So I won't tell you the game just yet, but I do have an over that I will be recommending as well. Let's get right out of the gate. We are going with the New Orleans Saints. You can see it on the thumbnail. The New Orleans Saints on the money line. Spencer Rattler is 0-10 straight up as a starting quarterback in the NFL. But we are backing the New Orleans Saints to get their first victory of the season this season against Jackson Dart and the New York Football Giants. The New York Giants are getting way too much love. This is a team that does not know how to win football games. They beat themselves. The New Orleans Saints have multiple games this season in which they've come close and they have lost. But this game at home against a rookie quarterback, against a team that doesn't have Malik Neighbors, and against a team that is getting a lot of love across the country this week, too much love in my opinion, the play is the New Orleans Saints on the money line. New Orleans at home is a tough team to beat. We saw it a couple of times this season. They've given other teams and opponents very difficult games, better teams than this New York Giants team. New York Giants did come away with the victory last season. The mood over there in New York is high. A lot of people think that this team is going to bounce back and maybe make a run, but that's not the case. Jackson Dart, while he did play well and he got the victory last week, it really wasn't that impressive from an offensive output standpoint. And the New Orleans Saints, they're a decent team. They're better than their record indicates. There is a concern that Spencer Rattler has 0 victories under his belt, but that's why they play the game. And I am predicting that the New Orleans Saints will win this game at home this afternoon. So the very first play for today is the New Orleans Saints on the money line. The second pick for today is a similar style of play. It's going to be the Houston Texans on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 1-3. They have many issues in that football team on the defensive side of the football. Madubuike is out for the entire season. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're giving up loads of big plays. Obviously, as we all know, Lamar Jackson will not be playing. One of the best players in the entire league is being replaced by one of the worst backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Cooper Rush is a serviceable player if the rest of the team around him is solid. But that's not what the case is right now with the Baltimore Ravens. And the Houston Texans have the best defense in the NFL from a points per game standpoint. I think they're giving up around 12 points per game. There are many things to be concerned about when it comes to the Houston offense. This is not the same Houston offense that we saw a couple years ago during Stroud's rookie season. This is a team that is struggling to move the football. The good news for them is this Baltimore defense is absolutely terrible. Similar to the pick that I gave you guys yesterday with Cincinnati and Iowa State. This isn't going to be an easy game to cash. We're not cashing this ticket at halftime. Houston Texans are not good enough for this game to be cashed at halftime. And while going back to the game yesterday, while Cincinnati was up 31-7 at one point, and I mentioned that this game wouldn't be cashed at halftime, even that game wasn't able to be cashed at halftime because it did get tight late. I expect something similar today in this game. I don't expect Houston to be up 31-7, but I do expect this game to go down to the wire. However, when you factor in the strengths and weaknesses of both teams, Houston right now is just a better football team than the Baltimore Ravens. If you would have asked me before the season Do you forecast the Baltimore Ravens starting the season 1-4? I would have told you absolutely not. But this is where we are. And after today, the Baltimore Ravens will be 1-4. The Houston Texans on the money line is the second winner for today. And the last play of the day is the Seattle Seahawks at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hamstrung, as is the case with many teams right now in the National Football League, with injuries. And going into Seattle, this is a Seattle team that is probably a little bit underrated from a national viewpoint, standpoint. A lot of people don't realize how good of a football team the Seattle Seahawks are. When you put this team at home, they're even better. I do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but with the injuries that they have and the strengths and weaknesses of the Bucs, with Bucky Irving being out, with Mike Evans being out, and a handful of other players also missing, I think going into Seattle is just too tall of a task for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get out of this game with a victory. I will be taking the Seattle Seahawks -3 to cover the spread this afternoon against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The three picks that I will be personally taking, as I mentioned, Saints on the money line, Texans on the money line, Seahawks -3. Those are my three official picks for today. As is the case yesterday, I told you guys, stay away from the Texas Longhorns. The Florida Gators are a terrible football team. And not to talk too much about college football in the day yesterday, but the Texas Longhorns weren't good enough to be laying 4.5, 5.5 points. They lost that game outright. In a similar regard to that, moving into today, the picks that I would highly recommend you guys stay away from, the games that I recommend you guys highly stay away from, number one is the Detroit Lions. Laying 10 points on the road. I know the Cincinnati Bengals are a terrible team, but this is still the National Football League. Laying double digits on the road is a load of points to cover. I wouldn't be shocked one bit if the Lions got up big early, but late in the game you see a couple of scores in a blowout type of game, in a meaningless situation type of football, where the Bengals score 7, 10, 14 points, and all of a sudden your -10 ticket doesn't cash. Stay away from the Detroit Lions today, number one. Number two, absolutely stay away from the Dallas Cowboys this afternoon, laying 1.5, 2 points, whatever the case is, whatever number you can get against the New York Jets. We've seen this with Dallas already. They put on a good performance at home against the New York Giants. They're small favorites away to the Bears, and they get blown out in Chicago against a terrible Chicago team. They put on an impressive performance against the Packers at home. Now they're going on the road against the New York Jets. They faced an 0-4 New York Jets team a couple of seasons ago, and it was a very similar situation to the one that is right now. And that was a better Cowboys team then than this Cowboys team, and they lost that game outright at New York. I'm not sitting here suggesting for sure the Cowboys will lose this game, but there's no way whatsoever I would be taking Dallas away from home, laying 2 points at the New York Jets. I know the Jets are terrible, but the Cowboys have no business being road favorites in this type of situation. Cowboys have no weapons. I know Pickens is playing well. Sauce Gardner is going to lock him up. Telling you that right now, Pickens will do nothing today. Outside of Pickens, they have no weapons. And that defense is absolutely, positively the worst defense in the NFL, bar none. Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson will put up points. Too close of a game to call. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if the Jets win that game outright. Last game to stay away from is the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Denver Broncos. It's a very poor matchup for the Eagles to be laying 4 points, which is what the line is at right now. The Eagles are not playing their best football. PS2, Patrick Surtain, is probably the best cover corner in the NFL. He's going to lock up whoever he lines up against, whether that's Devontae, whether that's A.J. Brown. It won't make a difference. That Broncos defense is stout. Yes, the Eagles defense is also stout, and they're probably going to slow down Denver. but that is not a game in which I would pick either side to cover 4 points. When I say cover, obviously, I don't mean the Broncos winning by 4 points, but 4 points in a defensive battle, which I'm anticipating in that type of game, is too many points to be laying. The Eagles will not win this game by 7, 8, 9, 10 points. That's not going to happen. They're just not playing a good enough brand of football right now to consistently expect them to beat good teams by that many points. Stay away from the Philadelphia Eagles today as well. And the last recommendation that I have for you is going back to that Baltimore game. I understand Cooper Rush is limited offensively. I understand CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans offense is limited offensively. But that total is just far too low. I think you can find that number around 40 right now. I recommend you stay away from the under and actually maybe consider taking a look at the over in that Baltimore game. That Baltimore defense is just playing way too poorly, giving up way too many big plays, whether it's on the ground or through the air, and giving up so many points to expect that game to be going under 40. I expect both teams to go over 20 points. As I mentioned earlier, I expect the Houston Texans to end up winning this game, but I do like the over 40 in Baltimore today against the Houston Texans. That wraps up our show for today, guys. Please, if you're watching the video, like and subscribe. I'm building a community here. I'm providing you guys with winners. We were 2-1 yesterday. I'm going to continue to give you guys daily winners each and every single day, whether it's NFL, whether it's college football, whether it's baseball, moving into basketball and hockey season. I'll provide them all to you guys. But I would like to build a community here, as I keep talking about, where we can communicate, give our opinions on a daily basis, and ultimately, what it all comes down to, which everybody wants, is to beat the bookies. And it's my job and it's my goal to provide you guys with winners to do just that. Enjoy your Sunday, bet responsibly, bet only what you can afford to lose. Use it as entertainment, use it as a potential stream of income. But just like I talked to you guys about yesterday, you have to have a plan of action. You have to go into the day knowing exactly what you're going to be wagering on, and whether you win or whether you lose, you stick to that plan. Because once you start to stray away from that plan and you start to become and have a lack of discipline, it becomes impossible to beat this game. Let's cash out the window, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.